Hello everyone. In today's video I will show you how to make a practical example from the line attractor and combine the effect with the adaptive component. If you still recall from the previous video, I created the line attractor and how we can making the points out of the grids and make grid of points, and those points will have the relationship to each point of a line you draw or specify inside Dynamo, and everything you distributed on that line can actually be bigger or smaller as goes or as far as we go from the line itself. So or the other way around could be as much you go closer to it, as the case as you can see in here. You get bigger opening for those geometries. We have lots of examples similar, but with the point attractor, when we change the height of the cylinders, when we go closer to a point and when we go further away, the cylinders goes smaller. Anyway, so in the video today, I'm just planning to just go more into more architectural practices, and I'll keep getting more facades, elevation, partitions, and whatever I found a good example for using the line attractor, and especially combined with the adaptive component. And as you see this in the result, I designed like a brick-like adaptive component. It's just a small cube with a void cube inside, and that's the cube inside will just go smaller, and as far as we go from the line attractor itself. So that's the line attractor here, and when you go closer to it, you go more opening, and the further you go away, it gets smaller and smaller, as you can see in this picture or snapshot that I have for both Dynamo and Revit in the working case for the end results. So what do we have actually here, or how we can achieve this? I highly advise you to go back and open the previous the previous video that we finished. You can go check my channel regarding the line attractor and the theoretical part of it, and I will just open that right now. I will go back and open the for video. This is the startup file, which is the theoretical part. That's the last video that I posted, and in it I'll just refresh your mind when it's open. I have like a line attractor with the grid point behind it, and you remember those polygons or circles, base polygon, and they get bigger as far as we go from the object itself. So that's what we stopped in the last video. I'm going to just save as this video, go to the here, and I'm just change the theoretical part into practical. Alright, so what we really need to do, and immediately you see Dynamo is actually apply or reflect that back to Revit. You need to open up a startup. You need to start up a new file. Don't forget to make the unit as meters. It's highly important, and in it you're gonna see immediately the Dynamo reflect those geometries back here. Technically, I'm gonna select both the polygon and the circles, and I'm gonna just delete them, which is for some reason I can't see it here. Delete. Now what we have is just those nodes, just to refresh your memory of what we had last time. Just a range of a 20 gap here, or 21, creating a 21 point by 21 point in a range, creating points, flattening the rest to create this list. And on the other hand, we have 3 points, 1, 2, and 3. Those are their inputs, those are the points, creating that arc with 3 points, as you can see in here. That's if you control or change anything in here, it's supposed to change automatically, as you can see down in the curve on the background. Is doing some crazy stuff and changing the way it's react, and it's how it's been drawn based on that. I can go ahead and change those points and make this 2 by 0 if you want. Just start up differently and give a different flavor to the curve itself. Probably it would be a good idea if I goes to manual. Anyway, so those 3 points creating this arc and this arc, I'll turn it into curve. It's actually a curve, but I will getting a point at a parameter out of it, and I'm creating from 0 to 1 to 0, this is the end, and 1 is the beginning, a jump of 0.1, so each 10% we're going to have a point, and then we get the geometry dot distance, and that gives us the distance between each point in this background grid to each point of those lines, or these points of that line. List the transpose to reorganize them, finding the minimum the minimum distance out of those groups to get this result. And finally, because this is crazy numbers, doesn't make any sense, we need to math.remap range to rescale them down to be a range. The minimum of it is 0.25 and the maximum is 0.8. That's what we've done, and we use those numbers to rescale the circles based on what we want. But in this exercise, we might need to change that. We'll come back to this later. So that's what we've done last time. And in this exercise, I'm going to use the adaptive component and instead normal geometry that's drawn inside Dynamo. It's making it more interactive with Dynamo immediately rather than exporting the geometries. Plus, we need to excel in using the adaptive component and control them parametrically by the Attractor, which is definitely more professional to deal with. But if you use the previous videos that I was posting, the adaptive component, and the majority of the adaptive component, even on YouTube, are 4-point base or 3-point base or more. You can find very rare to find the single point adaptive component. So what I've done is, I just created for you. This is a single point generic modeling adaptive component. It's a hollow type, so it's like empty from the inside. It's just a pure box generated based to a single point instead of a 4 adaptive points. So if I just move the geometry, you're going to see only one adaptive here. This dude here, this point, where is it? Yep. So this is the only adaptive component or adaptive point we have. The rest are just normal points. So Dynamo will place that based on the 1 point. So it's going to place this hollow brick shape into each point, into the center or this specific point. And what we're going to get first, we're going to upload this family into the Revit file that we have it already open. Just load it. You don't need to place it. That's, you see when you see this cursor asking you to place it, just hit escape. It's already been loaded. Get back here, and that's it. You can close the adaptive component family. What's actually happening here, I can if you don't know how to do that, it's just a point, and each point just giving us each face, vertical face, create a point distance away by and controlled by a parameter here, half width. So the half width will divide the value of the width you create into 2 and control how far those points away. Rather, the diagonal lines control the offset value. So if you increase the offset, and offset is just based on a range between 0 to 1, whereas the closer you go to to 1, it's almost fully opened, and the smaller you go, it will be almost closed. So you can see that's very obvious in the background. Anywho, if you find that annoying, and probably you will find it annoying, just feel free just to ask and to comment on my on this video asking how to create this family, and I'm very happy to post another video for it. Anyway, so I'm assuming you know that, and if you don't, just tell me. It's no worries. Anyway, I'm gonna close this guy without saving the changes because it's already been loaded here and I don't need to change anything in there. This file is again is in meters. Now if I place an adaptive component on each point, let's see what's gonna happen. Just write adaptive component here, and of course the method of placement is by point. So guess what? We need a points, and we have our points right here. Getting them out of the flat, place them here, and we need a family type, and that's my family type here. And in it, we're gonna just try to find the, I always suffer when I have this. they have to give us a better way to get the things in the search engine better than what actually they provide for us here. Anyway, so type here, this one, types. So you can see, please Autodesk fix this. Easier way to find. Otherwise, you have to be really nitpicking and understanding every single node. This search method have to be fixed, you know. I totally not happy with it. So anyway, single point here, the hollow one, that's the family. And now if I hit run, Dynamo should have placed the adaptive component on each point. Do not, you know, think that you're gonna have anything, any gradient or any, maybe they are not adjacent to each other. Maybe they are not having any, of course not going to have any gradient in opening or in height. It's just going to be unique, you know, hollow boxes, as you can see in here. That's true because I did not link any of the adaptive component, sorry, the line attractor thing to it. So you can, I'm just going to shade that guy here. So in the background, you can see that line here. I think you can see it better if you, yeah, that's the line. Nothing changed. That's true because I did not connect anything to it. I'm just placing an adaptive component on each point of the Dynamo grid. Now, what do we really need is we really need to make this is the width, you know, from here to here. We need to make the width from this point to this point equal to the distances between this point and this point. So what is this distance we're talking about? It's not been specified at all. There is no steps, and there is no steps edited or added, sorry, to the step input, meaning it will be following the default one, which is 1. And as you can see that from here to here is 1, and we have 20 thing of it. If you want to make it a fully parametric, it should be like an integer. I'll just go slide anyway. If you want to make it integer or I don't know, I'll make it a numerical one. So if that's the 1, it's not going to change anything, no worries. But so you can take this and you add it to what? You add it to the family, to the element.set parameter. So now we get this, happily we get this. I'm just going to get a little bit back. Control, that's those placing the adaptive component. Now let's control them. So I'm going to go element. And we need to get element.set parameter. By name. Now we have 2 here. Now I'll just follow the default one. I think this is an add-on one, so I'm just going to go with the default. So what is this doing? Is just take the parameter here, the adaptive component, knowing what parameter you have inside, and then in it, it's allow you to continue. So it's really would be a good idea if you go element.parameter first, so you can understand what the guy, if you are not the one who designed it anyway. So I'm going to continue connecting those. Probably another run. And this dude will give us the parameter available in each one of those adaptive components. And that's really useful in order to know what type of parameter you have. First, what is it? We need to control the width. So where is it? I have no idea. Let's zoom in here and see nothing. I bet nothing. So that's supposed to be the W here anyway. But not, maybe it's not been alphabetically organized, so I cannot see any kind of width. And that's frustrating, isn't it? I know. Now, why that's happened? Or what's the problem? There's no problem. This is the way that the element dot parameter is actually provided. To provide an information or parameter regarding the instance thing. So, or the type thing, and actually myself can't remember very well, but let's look. It's instance only. So the height dash instance parameter is actually listed in here. So this dude, this node, give us only the instance parameter. So now your brain saying, what about the type one? What I'm talking about is just double click on the adaptive component, have a look of what we made here. We made two different types of parameter, and of course you're going to need that in your advanced adaptive component. See, for example, the width guy here. If you select this dude and you go to the edit thing, you're going to say this is the type parameter. So this value, the width, will be the same for all whatever copies you go get from this one. That's really useful if you want to make the same brick all over without making them bigger and smaller, and that's what I wanted to do. If you want to make a bigger and smaller brick and change with the adaptive with the line attractor, that's a totally different thing, and this should be an instance. While the offset, I wanted the whole idea behind the example to be bigger and smaller in each brick, so logically it must be an instance. And that's true. Same with the height, because I was thinking, probably I will change the height based on the line attractor. So now we have instance, this guy, and we have the width as a type parameter. Beautiful. So that's the way I designed it. Probably you designed, or if you are the one lazy guys who want to download from the internet, you have a sad life for you. But if you do, you need to analyze whatever guy you just taking his adaptive component and you placing in your geometry, knowing what he's doing. So this dude will not be enough. So you need to get something called a family instance dot type, isn't it? Yep, I think this dude. Yep, this one. So this dude will again take the adaptive component and give you, when you hit run, all, not yet, just in getting the type of it yet. So I'm going to push it a little bit back. Now I'll steal this one, copying it with control. Now let's see, this dude will give us, again run. So this dude should give us the type parameters. Come on. See, that's the width, here it is. So probably, in order not to get confused again, select those two guys and Control and G, and you just say type finding type parameter. Too lazy to continue. M.Sc, in adaptive component, not the air conditioning guys. Anyway, so that's the way you get it. This dude will provide for you the instance one. So in order to unify all of those, this dude will do the trick. What do we need is the width. Now double click and we go width. So that's the name of the parameter we want to control for the rest of the whole adaptive component. Now we know what is it. The value, I'll just take that guy back to the slider. The same distance between this one and this one. That's now it's been connected and it's the default value of a 1. Now we need the points. Don't confuse this with the elements themselves, which is this one. Here, now let's hit run. Finger crossed it's gonna work. No, now I'm shy. Why? I have no idea. Did I make the mistake? Yeah, the usual. It should take this one. Alright, so what do we need to connect? That's a parameter. Don't tell me I have to take this dude. I'm sad now. It makes sense because this one have the type parameter, not the other one. I hate it. Even me make this mistake. And this dude's just allowed to benefit out of the instance one, while this one, which we get the type parameters, is allowing you to make this thing. Anyway, I hate it. I even myself get confused so far with it. So again, this dude should be, I think, following the same group. So if I get rid of this and then do that again, Control G, that's just to arrange. That's the getting and controlling the type in the adaptive component. Now see, you can just control the whole thing, as you can see here, very easily, and all of them are equal and adjacent to each other. If you want to change the height, and let me see if the height is type. I think the height is an instance, and yep, so probably those two things separately here. And just to move that, this is the adaptive component. I'm gonna connect them, and you have to go exactly the same, capital letter, small letter, gaps, whatever. Even if you did mistake, just do it again to follow the same naming. So height, instance, and I just what I've done, quotation. It's comma, sorry. So now connect this dude here. Now run. So I want that to be also 1. If you want to give a different parameter and different slider, go ahead. I'm just making exact cubes, which is the width and height, the depth and width and height the same. So let's go ahead, controlling these guys. You see now it's perfectly done. Okay. Now we need to do the magic. You know, that's how we're still fooling around, which is doing the, you know, we're doing the thing, we're doing the controlling the height and the width. We are not doing anything, we're not getting any of the magic for connecting to the line attractor. To do so, we need to change and understand this. First, before we connect, we need to know what type of parameter we have. Is it instance or type? Of course, it's a silly question, should be instance. Otherwise, it won't allow us to change individually for each adaptive component. So let's look here. Come on, where is it? Here, offset, true. And the set, as you can see, it's 0.8. Beautiful. So another copy of this guy, control and move it. We need here offset, specify the name, make sure the capital and small letter, whatever. Where is it? Yeah, true. Now, the value, that's the dangerous thing. I'm not going to keep it quarter to 0.8, probably I'm going to go 0.9, and the smaller one to be maybe 0.1. All right. Now, that means this is almost closing and this is almost fully opened. All right. Feel free to put any values you want. I'm going to connect this to the value itself. I'm going to hit run. And let's see how those change. Now we just now connect the grid and the adaptive component to the line attractor. And now you can see my laptop crashing proudly. I hope so. Not too. But let's see. Taking a nap. Boringly wait. Come on, old guy. Wake up. Do it. Yeah, it's not. It's okay, it takes times. I just hope it's not crashing and make me really sad and really, really sad. Come on. Here we go. It's working. Yep, be patient until this moving thing goes away. Now you can see it doing the thing, except it's assuming that, you know, it gets close as we go closer to the, you know, to the line attractor itself. And when you go further away from it, it gets bigger and bigger. It's kind of, if that's what we want, I'm happy for you. What I wanted is the other way around, which is making the thing bigger when I get too close to the line. So we make the minimum, maximum, maximum, minimum, and then I'll just hit save. And then I'm gonna hit run if it's allowing me to. And you can see now how Dynamo is actually creating the geometry, get them back to the Revit, and then get them back from Revit to Dynamo again via the use of element.set parameter, and change their individual settings or parameter based on the line attractor. And that's the beauty of connecting both the line attractor functions with the adaptive component. Again, if it's not crashing, let's just be, yep. My old machine, I definitely need to throw it as far as I go, but that's the only one I have, so just be happy. Yep, there we go. She did it. So if you zoom in now, you will see everything is perfectly placed. You see the line now, huh? That's the line, and we're closer we get to the line, the adaptive component just get wider, and whenever you go further away from it, you're gonna get this as smaller. I don't think that's really nice to do in Dynamo. I didn't see much of this type of videos in YouTube, so any idea, guys, I really need ideas, architecture ideas to practice this. If you have a facade, if you have any type of I don't know, partition, building elevation, anything based following the architectural interior departments, to allow me to model and make the example for you, it will be really nice. This is one of the examples, and as you see, it worked nicely and smoothly. I will try in the next video, guys, to apply that into even more practical by applying it directly to a facade, a part of a geometry, and the geometry will be vertical, not like laying down his fully horizontally thing. And that might go as well if you're designing some kind of a false ceiling, if you want to do this. But I need to design that in a better way, where allowing the user to select the face rather than just normal grid here. As you can see, I'm not really happy with the grid because it's less useful for architects to work with. We prefer to have a wall, for example, and then let Dynamo dividing it for us, and then clad it with these patterns, and that means we need to get Dynamo to select elements from Revit, and then maybe select the line drawn on Revit instead of have this ugly 3 points. Very basic, to be honest. Maybe we select a more complicated lines and then let Dynamo just do the attractor thing for us. Anyway, if you have any suggestion, any pictures you want to, any models you want me to apply the adaptive component for it and the line attractor, I'm very happy. Just send it to my email, or just send me just comment in this video. And I will be very happy to help you. Thank you very much for your attention and listening to me, and for your support. Have a good day. Bye bye.